Think of a time in your life where everyone around you were saying, you should do this, you should do that, but you wanted to do something entirely different. It might be a small thing or a big thing. What was your reaction? Did you give in or did you stick to what you wanted? If there is a situation where you stuck to what you wanted in spite of all the opposition, what was the end result? How did you feel after you got to know you were right in doing what you wanted all along? How did you feel after you understood that everybody else saying you should do something doesn't mean you should and you know yourself better? It's the greatest feeling in the world, isn't it? What if you can do this all the time? Hello, my dear friend. My name is Rohini, and welcome to my podcast, Believe in Yourself with Rohini. I'm a transformation coach, an empowerment coach, a life coach, and an image coach. I don many hats in a day, but most satisfying one is where I help people realize the power in believing in themselves. Whenever I do any new work, I always start with my why. Why am I doing this? What is in it for me? This gives me a greater clarity in things on what I'm about to do, and it gives me the right direction to head where I'm going. So, this podcast is also going to start with the same, but this is going to start with the why for you. Why should you believe in yourself? This episode is going to help you understand why do you need to believe in yourself? What will it change? How will it affect you or your life? If you ask any successful person in this world, what is the one skill that they have that made them successful? They are going to say, I believed in myself when absolutely no one else in this world did. What most people do not realize is this unwavering belief in yourself is a skill and can be developed. Yes, some people have this skill from childhood through experiences, but even as an adult, you can develop this skill, learn this skill, understand this skill, and make your lives better. So, how do we believe in ourselves? What changes is it going to make in our lives? How is it going to be helpful? These are all the questions we are going to be answering in this podcast. So, let me give you this scenario. Imagine tomorrow is the biggest day of your life. It can be an interview, it can be a meeting with a client, it can be anything that you've always wanted to do. It is that day. So, how do you react? Tomorrow is that day. Today, how are you reacting? Today, what are you doing? How exactly do you deal with this? There is a range of things that we can do. I'm going to talk about two extremes, scenario 1 and scenario 2. So let's talk about scenario 1. In this case, the person involved doesn't know who they are, what they are. They don't know anything about themselves. They're not self-aware and they have lots of self-doubts within them. They don't think too much about what they're doing, what they're not doing. So there is a lot of self-doubt involved in this case. So what does this person do? This person does is as soon as they get the news today that tomorrow they are going to have this biggest day of their lives, they start thinking, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, what am I doing? Oh my God, this is so huge. I can't handle this. What can I do? What can I do? They have no idea what they want to do. They have no idea what they can do. So they start thinking, what can go wrong? They start thinking, oh, this can go wrong, this can go wrong, this can go wrong, this can. Okay, now what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? They figure out a few things, they do that, and then the day comes. When the day comes, what do? Because their mind is so preoccupied that they are going to mess this up, they are going to be in a constant state of confusion. They are going to start thinking, you know what? I think I'm going to mess it up. I think I'm going to mess it up. I think this can go wrong. This can go wrong. This can go wrong. This is continuously in loop in their minds. This does two things. One is it's going to take your attention away from what you're supposed to do. It's going to take your mind power away from you, the thing that you're supposed to do. Second thing, it's going to be because it is on a constant loop, you're thinking about it. When it comes to that, you're probably going to answer wrong. You're probably going to do the thing wrong. You're probably going to mess it up. Thus, becoming a self-fulfilling prophecy. This is scenario number 1. Now let's go to scenario number 2. Scenario number 2 is someone who knows who they are, someone who understands what they can and cannot do, and they understand where their limitations are, and they understand how big of an opportunity this is and can't wait for them to get to it. So what is this person going to do? So yes, this is biggest opportunity of my life. I'm going to do everything in my that is possible for me to do this, and I'm going to get everything, every single thing that I can do into this, so that I get this opportunity and I get in the other side to see what I can do. So what this person does is make a list of what they can do, what they cannot do, what might go wrong. In case something goes wrong, what actions need to be taken, how they can fix it, what they can do. And they are prepared, actually prepared. So when the day comes, this person knows what has to happen, what doesn't have to happen. And even if there are surprises, even if there are changes from what they wanted to do, there is going to be, these people can handle it better. These people know how to handle it better. So when you start believing in yourself, you are going to give your 100% focus to what you're doing at this point. So then what happens? You are there completely focused on that interview, on that meeting, completely giving your 100%. And you are probably going to do very well and get through and not become what you were thinking. So these are the two scenarios possible, and there are a variety of scenarios possible in between these two as well. So which one do you want to be? Where do you want to be? Scenario number 1 or scenario number 2? This is the difference between people who believe in themselves. So let's start digging a little bit more about what exactly happens when we believe in ourselves. As with everything, the number 1 point is, as with everything, we start becoming self-aware. Every single step, every single thing in life starts with self-awareness. We all start with self-awareness. We all start becoming aware. Have you seen a baby? What they do? Anything that they find, first thing they do is put it in their mouth. They are becoming aware of what this tastes like. If it tastes not like food or not good, then they think, okay, this is not for eating. That's their self-awareness level. We as adults have a very, very sophisticated level of self-awareness, which most of us do not use. Most of us do not understand. Most of us do not know how to become this level of self-aware. So first thing you do is become self-aware in many, many, many different areas of your life. Second thing, you will become more and more accepting of who you are and stop putting unnecessary pressure on yourself. Expectations. What are you expecting with yourself? We all might have set some New Year resolutions on January 1st. What's happening with that? You start, let's say you want to exercise more, you want to get into a gym, you enroll into a gym also. You start, but then after, let's say 1 week, 10 days, oh my God, I can't see any difference. Why am I not seeing any difference? This is too much. Why am I not seeing any difference? You start getting frustrated. With any task, you are expecting way too much too soon with yourself. Especially with us women, what we do. Let's say we are doing 1001 things every single day, and you get that 1002nd thing wrong, or you couldn't get to it one day. What do you sleep with at the end of the day? You are going to sleep with that 1002nd thing that you couldn't do, and not the 1001 things that you got right. You are going to be thinking about it. You are going to be worrying about it that I couldn't do. This is the expectation we put on ourselves. But when you are self-aware, your expectations and your reality matches. So the amount of stress, the amount of anxiety you feel and face would be very less. And from this point, you will understand and start to plan how to level up, how to plan yourself in a better way, how to become a better version of yourself. The third point, you will stop comparing yourself and your journey and realize that we all are unique and we all have unique journeys in this world, and work on your own journey while you are appreciating someone else's. This is a very, very important point because from childhood, what do? We have been put into a competitive environment. Someone else is doing good, you should feel bad. Someone else is doing bad, you should feel good. This is the environment we have been growing up in. But that's not true. That's not true at all. Just because someone else is doing good doesn't mean you cannot, or their progress doesn't diminish your growth. But we do. We constantly compare ourselves to our family members, to our friends, to people in our circle, and to people everywhere nowadays. With social media, you're comparing yourself with the digital version of everybody else. We start these comparisons in a very early stage as well. So that is not good. And that is not progressive. And day by day, your morale is going to come down, your motivation is going to come down, and you are going to stay at the same level where you are right now. You're not going to grow, you're not going to improve if you start comparing. Let's say I'm doing something for 2 years, I'm just beginning, but somebody has been doing the same thing for, let's say, 12 years, 15 years. Is it a safe comparison that if I compare with this person, oh my God, see how well they are doing, I will never be able to get there? If you think like this, or would you think like, oh my God, see, that is where I can be in 15 years or even earlier? And you take lessons from their life, take lessons from their learnings and implement them in your life. Which one is better? You are still appreciating their journey while you are working towards yours. Number 4, your attitude will change towards change. Whenever some new sudden change comes into your life, how do you react? Go back to a scenario where something sudden came on and think about how you reacted. Most of us are not welcoming of change. We start thinking, why at this stage did they change this? Why at this stage did this come? No, I can't do this. See, I'm furrowing my brows. That's what happens. That's what we do. But as soon as something new comes, this is non-negotiable. You have to do this. So how do I implement this? Where do I make changes? How can I implement? Do I get somebody else to help me? If you start thinking in these terms on any change, your entire life changes. Because you are no longer fearing change. You are embracing it. Number 5, once again, which is an adaptation of the same thing, you are going to adapt yourself to any situation very easily. As you understand change, as you appreciate change, as you are welcoming of change, you adapt yourself easily anywhere. In any task, whatever comes your way, you are easy to go. You're not someone who's creating problems. You're someone who is creating solutions. You're someone who is solving problems. You are someone who's making your life and life to everybody else around you easier. This is the power of believing in yourself. How does that sound, by the way? This is what helps you in leading a fulfilling and a satisfying life. So this is the journey we are going to take through this podcast. Every week, I'm going to give you tasks. I'm going to tell you a lot of stories. I'm going to tell you a lot of concepts. We're going to bring in guests as well, and we're going to be discussing a lot about this topic. And if you stick with me through this journey, I'm going to tell you that in next 6 months, your life is going to change. And your life is going to change for the better. Trust me on that. And on this note, I'm going to end this episode. Thank you all for joining me on today's episode. Do connect with me for any questions, queries, or suggestions on Instagram at RohiniPV. or visit me on my website at rohinibv.com for more. And don't forget to join us for our next episode. Till then, live life to the fullest and believe in yourself.